Today we make it a pizza. So what do we know? We know that sourdough is going to add a nice tang and deep flavor of fermentation into our dough. We know it is a natural wild yeast, and we know that given the certain time and preparation it needs, it can be frickin' delicious. So why wouldn't you put that in your pizza dough? Today, we're doing sourdough pizza. Making your own pizza dough, such a game changer. You could easily go to a pizzeria, ask them for some of their dough, maybe go to the store and just buy like some prepackaged dough in a container, whatever. But making it from scratch, you could do this by hand. We're gonna use a stand mixer because why not make our lives a little bit easier? And this dough is going to come together in literally 15 minutes. Let's get into it. So we have our stand mixer, mixing bowl, and I'm using a dough hook because we're making dough. You'd be surprised why I have to say that. So today I'm using Tipo 00 flour. We've been over this before. It is just a finer milled flour, better for hydration, better for pastas, better for pizzas. We're gonna use it today. In our bowl, we're gonna go down with some room temperature water, not too cold, not too hot, that would kill the yeast. Our prime active sourdough starter, love that. A little bit of Bartleby going right in there. Give this a nice stir and let it sit for just like 30 seconds on its own, just like this, okay? We want this to kind of get a little cloudy, but really what we want is that the water to kind of hydrate the sourdough starters so they can become one. Next, we're gonna add our flour right in. We're gonna pop this on, add our paddle, and let this come together for like 2 minutes or so, okay? It's gonna take on that like shaggy dough consistency. Excellent. So right now I look just like this. Add our olive oil. That fat is needed for a little extra bounce. It's also going to kind of help the elasticity of our dough, which is important when you're stretching pizzas. And then I have our salt and our sugar all going in at the same time. Give this a mix on low until everything comes together and you really can't see the oil as much. Then we're gonna pop it up to medium and let it go for about 6 minutes. Let's take a look at our dough. It's a little sticky still, so I can already tell you, we're probably not quite there yet. As it was beating, it was coming off the side of the bowl. That's a good sign, but the real test is the window pane. You might have heard this before. It's when you take a little piece of dough, and you stretch it out and you see if you can make a window pane. You see how I'm slightly getting there, but it broke a little too soon? It's not quite strong enough. It needs more gluten development. I'm gonna throw it back on the machine for about another 2 minutes. So I transferred this to a lightly oiled bowl. We are going to cover this and let it proof at room temperature for about 3 to 4 hours or until it's doubled in size about. Then you can divide it in shape in either 275 gram balls for like a 10-inch or 12-inch pizza, or a larger ball of like 350 grams if you're gonna do a 16-inch pizza, and then pop it in the fridge. We'll see you tomorrow. So I don't know, I feel like classic pizza, pepperoni pizza, right? So I got a pepperoni stick here. I like to cut my own pepperoni cups. You can buy the pre-sliced pepperoni. 2 things. 1, I usually don't like that pepperoni. I think it tastes like ass. I like to pick my own pepperoni. This stick, particularly, is absolutely delicious. I also get to choose the thickness, which is probably the most important part. If you've ever seen like a New York City style pepperoni slice, you know how you have those little pepperoni cups? They kind of like curl up a little bit around the outside. They keep this nice little pool in the middle of pepperoni oil. Oh my God, it's terrible for you, but it's so delicious. That's what we're chasing here, right? So in order to do that, this isn't gonna do anything. This, that'll do something to you. This will start to curl up around the outside, keeping that little pool on the inside. So again, I like to just kind of go 1/4 of an inch thick or so, maybe a little bit thinner than 1/4. Okay, so I got some flour here, all-purpose flour, simple. Pizza dough here. I took this out of the fridge about 2.5 hours ago. I just love doing that every single time. You want to make sure your ball has a little bit of flour on the outside and the top. It's just gonna kind of make rolling out much easier. These guys are beautiful. Look at that, nice and gassy too. Lovely. Boop, 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 boop. So I like to just take these fingers and I kind of go around the outside, make a border where your crust would sort of be, right? Just like this. Now, depending on how big your ball is, like I said yesterday, our balls are a little bit on the bigger side. Hey now. I like to float around 350 grams for my balls just because I have a big pizza oven. I could do like a 14, 15 inch pizza in my oven. You might not be able to, or maybe a big pizza scares you. That's totally fine. Like I said, opt for like 280 grams per ball. They'll be a little smaller, a little more manageable, and easier to cook in a home oven. There's a few ways that you can kind of deal with this, right? People like to toss it up and stuff. We're not quite there yet. I like to kind of pick it up and go around the edge like this, basically letting the weight of the dough pull down on the opposite side as I keep this rotating. This is going to start thinning out the middle of the dough, while also giving us this nice little border, which will eventually be our crust. Listen, I'm not a pizzaiola. I don't make pizzas for a living. I've never worked in a pizza shop before. I'm a pizza enthusiast, all right? I got marinara running through my veins, okay? I'm Italian, so like, I don't know. Is this the right way to make pizzas? Probably not. This is how I make pizzas. You can also do the DJ, where you have one hand coming out and the other hand going in the opposite direction, but essentially they're not just doing this, they're doing this. So they're spreading as they are rotating, like this. This is also another way. Another cool way to roll out your dough. You want to use your wrists and your forearms. You don't want to use your fingers, otherwise you're going to poke a hole. You can kind of just like toss the dough back and forth like this between your hands. This is also going to help stretch out the dough. But again, I'm using my fists and my forearms. I'm not using my fingers here. Look at this, we're getting somewhere. Can we go up? Maybe. The idea here when you're doing this is that the rotation of this in the air as it's coming down, it's almost like a parachute. It's catching a little bit of air on its way out, which is actually going to help expand the middle of the dough in, you know, as the air is coming up, kind of like a balloon type thing. And this is kind of going to fall on top of that, slowly increasing the radius of your dough. This is fancy. This is an efficient way of doing this. Pizzerias will do this just because it's nice and quick. You give it a few tosses and you're almost there. We're not that experienced. We don't do this every day. But I'd be smitten if I did a pizza video and I didn't show you how to do it. So wish me luck. We're going to be using our knuckles, not our fingertips, not our fists, but our knuckles to kind of like, you know, I just got flour all over camera 3. Let's move to the side a little bit. Hey, hey. Let's talk about the oven for a second. I've had that oven ripping for about 45 minutes now on high. The reason being is one of the biggest issues I see with home pizza cooks, whether you're doing this in your oven or you're doing this on a nice pizza oven like an Ooni or a Gozney or something like that. Not sponsored, just dropping names. Hey now. That top heat is about 750 degrees to 800 degrees. If that stone isn't equally as hot, the top is going to cook twice as fast as the bottom. You're gonna get scared, pull it out because it looks like it's burnt, but the bottom of your pizza is still, let your oven rip on high for about like 45 minutes or so before dropping it all the way down to low. Now your stone is preheated to the same temperature as the atmosphere. You're not blasting it with 800 degrees. Maybe you're blasting it with just 700, 675, something like that, right? Now now the top and the bottom can cook evenly at one rate. Outside, that pizza is probably gonna take about 2 minutes or less. Inside, put your oven up to 500, put the stone in there and forget about it for an hour. Let that stone get ripping hot. It's probably gonna take about 5 minutes to cook in an oven like this, but at least everything is cooking cohesively. You're still gonna get a similar product. So, low moisture mozzarella cheese, just like we spoke about in our lasagna video last season. You want low moisture. If you have full moisture, it's okay, but the moisture in the cheese has to go somewhere, and it's not all just gonna evaporate. So if you ever see those pizzas that have like these little weird pools, or like it's on top of the sauce and it almost looks a little blue, that's the moisture from the cheese leaking out, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It just kind of sits on your pizza. It's no bueno. Low moisture, shredded mozzarella cheese, works every time. Grated Parmesan cheese for a little bit extra flavor and umami. Crushed San Marzano tomatoes. I don't cook them. These are raw. Some people like to cook it a little bit. They'll add some cheese and some herbs, maybe some sugar and stuff like that. I don't really do any of that. I just like straight up tomatoes. And then last but not least, our pepperonis. You want to make sure your peel is about the same size as your pizza. You don't want to make your pizza bigger than your peel, otherwise you can't really go anywhere. The other thing that I want to reiterate, very important, I want to make sure the bottom of my pizza is nice and dry. You can use cornmeal, that works great, or a little extra flour, goes a long way. So we'll take a little bit of flour here, flip our pizza over, hit it with some flour, take the other side, hit it with a little bit of flour, rub it down. So I got our sauce, a few ladles of sauce goes down first, Spread it out. Again, we wanna make sure we have a little bit of a border. That's gonna be our crust. Basically, anywhere that you're not putting a topping, the crust is gonna come over. If it has topping in the middle, it's not gonna rise in the middle. So we do that by making this nice little border with our sauce. I don't know, leave yourself like a ½ inch or something. Depends on how much crust you like, right? I hate when you got a pizza and like there's no sauce on it. Come on. Next, we're using this as our salt, right? We're seasoning with Parmesan cheese. We'll do a nice little sprinkle of Parmigiano right in the middle there. Then we got a little bit of our low moisture mozzarella. Thin layer, we don't need a nice thick layer of mozzarella. It's gonna melt, it's gonna spread out, it's gonna be great. Just like that. I'm coming in with my pepperonis. Lots of pepperonis, bro, lots of them. Then just a little bit more cheese on top of this ronis, just to kind of help weigh the ronis down a bit. Watch closely. Take your peel, put it at an angle, pick up one side of your pizza, and you slide it under just like that. Once it's on, I like to give it one last stretch going this way, one last stretch going this way, and then one more stretchy's going that way. Boom, just like that. Into our pizza oven we'll go. Pizza slides right in. You wanna let it sit for about 45, 60 minutes before you even touch it. Then we're gonna start doing these small little rotations just to make sure all the crust is. You see that back corner? That's my hot corner, okay? That's gonna rise first. All right. Our pizza, she's looking sexy. Look at that. So you always wanna give your pizza like 2-3 minutes just to rest. Let that cheese settle, let everything kind of relax before you dive right into it. But I can tell you right off the bat, right? We got some nice color on the outside on the crust here. Our pepperoni's cupped up a little bit. We got these nice little pools of oil in there. I'm a big fan of that. That's a good sign. That's a good sound. How did we do? Holy Jesus, Batman. Did you get that? So we got some nice gas coming in on our crust, right? Our fermentation. Let's give this the old fold. You can fold it, it holds its shape. Oh, I'm losing ronis. Come on, cheese, bro. Look at the bottom there though, right? Bottom's nice, golden color, cooked all the way through. I love it. Position, thank you. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, dude. You get such a nice flavor from the dough. You could have let this dough sit in the fridge for like one more day to develop a little bit more fermentation. So look, honestly, dough is fantastic. It's got some nice chew to it. It's still light. It's not weighing all these other flavors aside a little bit. I didn't achieve the leoparding that those famous pizzerias get with their sourdough pizzas. And I think that's due to the temperature of my oven. I like to lower mine a little bit just so I have a little more control, especially having the camera out there, having to move that thing around. It's just a little bit better. But I mean, even color, even browning, nailed it. So look, this is super easy. You can do this. It's not that hard. Make a bunch of dough, have your friends come over, set up a pizza station of different toppings and sauces, and let people just build their own pizza. It's a super fun activity to do with your friends and family. Everyone's gonna get a kick out of it. Before we wrap up, please, if you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.